Okay, we got a couple of,
Councilman Brown, I'd like to make a couple amendments to the agenda.
yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move discussion of item 3, stormwater fees on annexed property, to executive session item 4. And I'd like to add the discussion of employment of an employee pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A1, Economic Development Department, to executive session as well.
Got a motion, can I have a second? Got a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, so moved. So we have one discussion item. Item number 2. Would you mind taking that, Ryan?
Item number 2, information was included
Thank you.
in the agenda. And I'll pass out the physical copy. As a follow-up to last month's partner presentation, GrowCo came in, they're an established partner. Core came to the committee and presented as well, and have followed up with a funding request for economic development support from the city of Columbia. So I wanted to provide that to the committee for y'all's consideration.
Do we have any specific connection with CORE from a administrative level?
No,
Okay,
except for the mayor and Councilwoman Devine starting it.
okay.
But it's no longer, there's no fiduciary responsibility here.
Do we have any,
Liaison.
yeah, do we have any, like,
Me?
okay, 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 could you tell us then how, I guess what I'm trying to, I think CORE's a great organization, and I think the timing of this is perfect for what's going on in the city, from a vibe, from a, economic expansion, from a growth, I think you used the M word earlier, so I'll use it again, millennials, and I think there's a lot of positive things going on in Columbia, and I think that CORE can be a little bit of a center point, but I'm struggling to figure out, do we need any further connection to them, or how do we?
So I think as long as we provide funding, there's going to have to be a city liaison, like all the other organizations that we work with, whether it's, Transitions or
Right.
Historic Columbia. It's a non-voting position, but I think that that'll allow us to stay up to date with what's happening. I've moved away from being a board member into that role, so because of this funding request. But I do think that, the funding request of 50,000 is reasonable. My question to you all is there something you want to specifically include that they focus on with those dollars? I think that's really where the city can play a more formal role in furthering some of our kind of priorities around economic development. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I think the mayor's talking about Crash Course Columbia. I think that's a really important thing. I also think their membership is an important benchmark. So
Agreed.
We don't want a friends and family organization. We want an impactful organization. So I think there has to be some reporting. So if we look at Crash Course, membership, and events.
And the one thing I'd also like to see is if we perhaps integrate Crash Course or Capture, whichever one is probably Crash Course, into some of the changes we're making in terms of professional development opportunities at the city as well. I don't think city employees have been able to take advantage of this
Great
program.
idea.
So I'd like to see us, send folks, and I know we won't be able to send everyone, but at least provide the opportunity to departments to be able to send folks to get to know, everything that's going on in Columbia.
Yep, I love that.
That's a great idea.
And I think that'll also, I think what we need to encourage CORE that they have to engage the business community. And not just the young business community, the older business community.
Yeah.
Because the older business community has younger people working for it. And traditionally, especially in Columbia, a lot of the traditional businesses kind of tend to shrink their interaction with the city as time goes on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think we need to have a strong business community engagement and connection development.
I also want to note that our own Grace Salter is a board member of this
Right, right.
organization, so I think she can make some parallels and alignment with some of the recruiting that she's doing and the business community and connecting some of those pieces.
So Dr. Bustles, are you essentially an advisory board member?
Yeah, I'm a non-voting, I'm like an ex officio, yep.
I do think we should have
I
a
do too.
staff liaison
Yeah.
to be that conduit, whether it's somebody from your department.
So, yeah, so they've approached Grace about being on the board. Of course, she wouldn't be able to vote on city-related matters. Also working with them on the Wisdom Council, which are kind of an external group, meets with them quarterly just to provide kind of that third-party visibility, you know, looking from the outside in as they're putting together programming. I appreciate the ideas that y'all are providing here because we've already began conversations with Kelsey Bickley. What we would need to do is put together a defined scope of work for them as far as the city's expectations. We've got a new intern in the office. You know, we've talked with them about having the interns go through the crash course programming. I think there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration. Any feedback that y'all can give us to start putting together is great, and then we could put that in writing and give y'all something to
Yeah, I think
respond to
that's
if you
important
prefer.
between now and the time this comes before full council is that scope document with benchmarks.
Yeah, so definitely I mean, I think we all agree we want to encourage our employees to go through crash course. I think it makes sense to have Grace be our staff liaison for this since she is on the board. And perhaps could provide us with updates,
Membership growth. and then-
membership growth
and then
and
business
then,
outreach.
and business outreach.
I agree.
I would add our universities and colleges.
I was just getting ready to say,
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if they'll buy in and help support, both from a funding standpoint, think about them getting people integrated in our community early.
Yeah.
And then as they start to think about careers, they're already thinking about quality of life in the business communities here. So there's an intersection there to draw both the university and our business community in a stronger. That's what I would push them to use that seed money to do is
outreach. Yeah, and I think the universities here are starting to realize that the city's a partner. There's other groups in town that are not, you know, we're pro everybody. We're not, you know, winners and losers. We want everybody to be successful. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Grace, how long have you been affiliated with them? Are you just getting started? Okay, gotcha. All right, can I get a motion from someone on
Do we
this?
vote on this or just send a consensus?
Just consensus?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's move forward with some framework around.
And we'd like
this.
to-
And I'd like to have reporting back at least twice a year.
Yeah, and we'd like to move forward the request to all of council.
If you wanna, I'm happy to look at that one more time, once you put something together.
Okay.
Are we, when we're talking about for the 50,000, are we talking July 1 going forward? So it'll be.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think it should be in the new
Yeah,
budget,
okay. Yeah, new
I
yeah.
just want to be clear.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. We don't like going backwards. All right, anything else on this? You good? Good. All right, so how about a motion to send us into executive session?
I'd like to make a motion for us to move into executive session to talk about item 3, stormwater fees on annexed property. Item 4, discussion of matters relating to proposed location expansion or provision of services encouraging location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body pursuant to 30-4-70A5, Project Wichita, Project Silver Hills, Project Subtext, and 2221 Divine Street, as well as the discussion of the employment of a employee pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A1, Economic Development Department.
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, let's go.